Look, that must be the leader, Saturnin. That was the leader. It must have been Saturnin. And if he's heading in there, that must be where the rest of the House of Sorrows are. We have to get past this door. We need to stop him before the rebels are all killed. The Fallen Hall is a fortress in the Phalanx. To get to its heart, we will need to open 3 great doors. There should be 2 other sigil stones that we can use in addition to the one before us. They will grant us passage. The Fallen Hall is well known in these lands for its strong defences. There are 3 sigil stones that control the Holdfast's mighty doors. They are strewn throughout the hall. Activate all of them and the path to the Holdfast will be open. Farewell. Yes? In his sealed farewell.
Oh, this is splendid. I was worried I would have nothing left to see to after I slaughtered these wretches. Saturnin, you use that name so freely, but your little guess is wrong. I am not Saturnin. I am but a blade that Saturnin has employed in his war, and now that blade turns on you.
I can scarcely believe it. All this death, all this destruction, and we have nothing to show for it. No Saturnin, no safety. The Weeping King left the world with good cause. For all that is left of the House of Sorrows is ruin. We must return to Bizering with this news. He will want to know what has happened here. Farewell.
Saturnin. This latest wound he has dealt may be fatal. He need only for us to succumb, and then he can find these sorrows. So that is what we will deny him. Let our losses harden our resolve. Where once we sought victory, we shall now seek attrition. I have told you of the burden that every Winter Fae carries from their birth. We are to embody death and decay in our very essence. For centuries, the Delvers of the House of Sorrows have been harvesting this essence from their winter brethren to relieve them of this burden. This amalgam of magic and emotion was collected and concentrated into a single powerful source, the Sorrows. And Saturnin wishes to turn that magic on the mortal armies. It is a difficult magic for a mortal mind to grasp, but the accumulation of centuries of sorrows is a fearsome weapon indeed. The burden of a single lifetime of sorrows can be debilitating. Their impact can instill madness or drive a life to end itself. Saturnin would hold a millennium of sorrows. With them, he could obliterate an army's morale and send them from victory to bedlam. Their location is an ancient secret. Only two Fae, the eldest, know. They left the house centuries ago to reside in Amalur. The way to them is blocked by the Great Scale, a mighty spell which you must bypass. That alone will open your path to the eldest. You must kill beasts on the pans of the scale. Death is the only way to bear. Kael'rod and Alarain are two of the oldest Fae in the Winter Realm. So old that they predate the house itself. With the death of the house's original ruler, the Weeping King, they fled. Their devotion was to the sorrows, not to winter. It is a manifestation of magic that prevents intruders from disturbing the perpetual reverie of the eldest. From what I understand, the sides of the room take the role of a scale, and whoever wishes passage must use death itself to manipulate the scale. The only weight the pans of the scale will acknowledge is death. When something dies on the scale, it will shift you one step closer to the eldest. They know where the sorrows, Saturnin's true target, reside. We must rouse them from their reverie and learn from them. To reach them, one must brave the road southward to Amalur and pass the Great Scale.
Yes.
On your guard. Hi there.
Hail, adventurer. I am Bruin the Bard, spinner of stories, seeker of adventure. Allow me to welcome you to the Caelid Coast, haven to the wise and wicked. These brave soldiers, the finest of the Alfar armies. They escorted me all the way from Melsenshir to these verdant lands. Alas, our journey together has come to an end. But there is still adventure to be had, so join me. If not, then I bid you fair warning. Your journey shall be far less exciting without this storyteller at hand. A wise question, and a fair one. As Bard of the Gastia Court, I know all the tales of the Caelid Coast, of how this great land rose and fell, and became what it is now. Allow me the pleasure of your company, and I will lead you through these luxuriant lands, spinning stories of times long since past. I had a good feeling about you. Someone who cherishes a good story. Let us proceed. The first stop on our tour begins across the bridge behind me. Alas, there is one small problem. That area is favored by our enemies. If you can clear the area of them, I will follow and join you. Lord Erengastr was a very wealthy lord and a powerful landowner. I don't care to speak much more on the subject, thank you. This lush land was once the royal domain of two great Alfar families, the Ancillas and the Gastirs, the most powerful of bloodlines and the most bitter of enemies. For centuries, the two houses warred over the coast. So enamored were they with each other that they blinded themselves to the real threat. And so the Bolgan came and conquered. The houses fell before them. One might say they were toppled by their pride. Brune was the name given to me by my mother, a lovely daughter of the full moon. A skin like the glow of alabastra. Long ago, I was the court bard of Castle Gastier, the teller of tales, the spinner of stories. But when the Bolgan invaded, well, they had no need of my expertise. The wonderful gentlemen and ladies of the Alfar armies have been kind enough to act as my loyal escorts, all the way from Melsenshire, and before that, Erethel. Without these good, hearty folk, I never would have survived. The voyage across the sea would have been enough to sink my spirits. We must clear the spot ahead of Bolgan. It is a famous place, and they sully it with their presence and their stench. Goodbye. Excellent work. You are clearly much more proficient in the ways of war than most visitors of the Caelid Coast, even the soldiers. It would be my great pleasure. Picture it. 10 years ago, the rising sun, a lingering fog. Somewhere in the forest are screams, the cries of battle. Then silence. It happened here upon this site. The ambush of Gorn Akri. It is here on this spot where the Bolgan drew first blood, killing Lord Erengastr, his son, and their squires during their morning ride. Let us move on, shall we? And if you don't mind, there are more beasts to attend to ahead. The Bolgan have infested the entire area around Castle Gastier, my old home. Destroy them, and I will relate the tale of the first Lord of Gastier himself. Free the area around Castle Gastier from Bolgan, and we can continue on our journey. Goodbye. Done it. You have rid the gates of the Bolgan. As promised, I have another tale to be told. The very first Eren Gastir arrived here generations ago from Mel Senshir, before the final tower was raised, when the great giants of Cluracan were but saplings. On that very first morning of his arrival, while the sun ascended the sky, Gastir scaled the heights and saw below him the great keep of the merchant Ancilla. Gastir could not bear such an intrusion on his new ancestral homeland, and swore an oath. By right of mine, and sword in hand, I will not forsake our native land. Now that you've seen Castle Gastir, we should move on to the final stop on our journey. The last thing I want to show you is near the coast, on the cliffs overlooking the sea. It's the best story yet, but again, it must be freed of Bolgan. Goodbye.
Through the woods and mountainside, through the hollows and green meadow, through the summer.
There, you've cleansed this place of the Bolgan. I shall tell you the last tale, the best of the lot. Believe me, these cliffs were made for my story. I will read it, and I will finally know if what my mother told me was true. Then I will destroy it. I want nothing to do with Augustias. My mother never wanted his kingdom. She only wanted his love. That letter has haunted me for 10 years. I will now be rid of it. Of him. Friends. Yes. I suppose we are friends. I'm not sure where to look for Father's letter. Father. It's strange to call him that. I would think he'd keep it near, lest such revelations be discovered. The castle. That would make some sense, wouldn't it? I'll be back at camp. Be careful. I would feel terrible if anything happened to you. I remember my father having a chest near his throne. I always assumed it was where he kept his mother's personal possessions. Goodbye. Hello.
After all this time, I'd just assumed Enodon had abandoned me, that there was no justice left in this world. But here before me stands the hero of Melsenshire, in the skin, fresh from the Baelor's bloodying, and it appears my prayers have been answered. Tell me, how much goodwill do you have left, Honored One? My great-great-grandfather built this keep. You can still find the one stone resting where he laid it in the courtyard. We spent 4 generations in these hallowed halls. Then the Bolgan came, followed by their Tuatha masters. They killed everyone, Fae and Alfar alike. Rasanon was the worst of them. He murdered my mother and now sleeps in my family's chambers. With your help, Honored One, my family will find restitution. You will be rewarded, my friend. We Gastiers have long memories of both our friends and our enemies. Come. Rasanon knows I cannot pass through his gauntlet alone, but together we can avenge Castle Gastier. Were you not told the stories as a child of Rasanon the Ravager? Rasanon the Red-Eyed? He was one of the first to give himself to Gadflow. It is my life's work to make him answer for his crimes. Old as I am, he is older. and I don't want him to die without knowing the rage of his killer. I grew up behind the walls of this stronghold. All my memories are of its beauty, its security. It was an ideal childhood. Those days have long since passed. When the Tuatha marched, it was Rassanon who killed my family and claimed Castle Gastir as his own. And though he may hold the castle, he will never hold its name. I have devoted my entire life to reclaiming this castle, enlisting in the army, fighting under General Telera, and then breaking free of Melsenshir. This is my destiny. It has stood here on the Kaled coast for centuries, a testament to the will of my ancestors. Rassanon made it a grave. Now I will make it his. Yes, I remember Brune. He was kind, silly. There weren't many like him in the court. When everyone else was so grim, Brune and his heart never ceased singing. I wonder how he fares now. I am a captain under what is left of General Telera's army. There are only a handful of us left after Melsenshir, but we press southward toward the Tuatha's lair. However, my quest for justice means more to me than any victory. I have left my soldiers in the capable hands of Captain Canwin. She has moved ahead without me. The castle has been completely ransacked by the Bolgan, and debris blocks the gate into the castle. We have to go around through the dungeons. Then I will have my revenge. Believe me, it has been far too long in coming. Hurry! Let's go. Let's go. He didn't even seem to remember me. I've given my life to finding and killing Rassilon, and he probably didn't even understand why. But now the quest is ended, here, at home. I want you to have everything of mine as a reward, and to help me forget the many years of tragedy that led me to this end. Now go. I need rest. I deserve rest. I am a captain under what is left of General Tulera's army. There are only a handful of us left after Mel Senshir, but we press southward toward the Tuatha's lair. However, my quest for justice means more to me than any victory. I have left my soldiers in the capable hands of Captain Canwin. She has moved ahead without me. My days of blades and battles are behind me. With the aid of people like you, I shall rebuild the Caelid coast. The name Gestir will mean something again. These old halls have been held too long by the Bolgan. Castle Gestir has been left a ruin. Once this war is over, we will rebuild. Goodbye.
Hello. You have gone through much to bring me this, only to watch it destroyed. But it must be done. You understand? This letter proves that I am an heir to Gastir, and an heir to his heartlessness. He gave my mother everything, when all she wanted was his love. And now, she's gone. You are my friend. You may not agree, but that is what I choose to believe. You have helped me more than anyone has. I will remember you. I hope you will remember me. She may be the only one truly worthy of the Gastir name, superior to her father in every way. I remember Hill. She and I used to play together in the courtyard. I try not to think of her as a sister. It makes matters all the more confusing. Goodbye. Hello. I came back to retrieve that letter. Now that I have proof of my past, I can start to build a future. Gastir be damned. Goodbye. I came back to retrieve that letter. Now that I have proof of my past, I can start to build a future. Gostir be damned. Farewell.
A fledgling hunter by the looks of it. What's someone so soft doing in the Caelid Coast? Don't you know this is Bolgan country? Those red devils are really digging in. I've slain many on my hunt for Chernobog. The oldest and mightiest of the living Bolgan. He led the armies of Gadflo to victory over the houses of Ancilla and Gasir. Chernobog may be ancient and marred by war, but don't let that fool you. He is as strong as ever. The Tuatha and the Bolgan have kept this land in their greedy pockets for more than 10 years. They can have it for all I care. It's a stagnant pit of decay and despair. Ha! My hunts are the stuff of legend. Not even that Fey armor tear can boast to have tracked and slain more prey than I. And now I intend to claim Chernobog, the Bolgan champion, as my greatest trophy from the Caelid Coast. Grand fellows and courageous to a fault. They're the ones who accompanied me this far, helped me pass through all their bloody checkpoints. Of course, once I had the chance to take leave of them, I did. One doesn't need a band of glory hunters following him on the most glorious hunt of his career. The scars don't give me away? Ha! You're probably the first person in recorded history not to recognize the mighty Alof the Hunter. Usually my reputation precedes me. As for why I am here in this muggy puddle of piss, I intend to conquer Chernobog, the mighty Bolgan, and win his eye as my trophy. But first he must be summoned, for he won't just face any foe, you know. Only those he deems worthy to smite with his blade. Ha! You're certainly welcome to try, but I'm afraid he'll be much too dead by the time I finish with him. Besides, you still have the offering to consider. Chernobog will only battle those who can prove their ferocity. It is his way of swatting away the flies who don't offer enough of a thrill for his fiery blood. If you can collect the eyes of 10 Bolgans, then you are clearly a warrior who deserves a reckoning. Set the eyes upon Chernobog's war lanterns and the beast will emerge. I've traveled the world and hunted all manner of beasts. I tracked them down, claimed their heads and hides as mine. Krang the Etin, I slew him, as I did the Fist of Corthis and the clan of Craddock elders in Galafor. By offering the bloodthirsty beast the eyes of 10 Bolgan that you have slain. Once you place that bloody offering on the pedestal and light the war fires, the ugly brute will emerge. Goodbye.
I don't want to die here.
Back for some healing. Stay safe. Would you care to sell? Sorry, I mean buy. Would you care to buy something? come again.
What is it?
My friends used me for their own gain, and why not? I was, after all, a powerful sorceress who commanded the elements and conjured fear in the heart of any who would oppose her. Oliskar, my apprentice, the entire time was inciting the rabble against me, the witch. You should have known better than to trust him. And Atham, of course, right there, stealing from my library and purse. How could you be such a fool? Atham was someone I thought I could trust.
Sorrow precedes you, mortal. It is almost enough to shift the great scale on its own. It has been centuries since my reverie was last disturbed. For what cause are you here? What could a mortal possibly want with me? That moniker holds no meaning to a true Fae. What is age to the ageless, to the immortal? They are Alarain's orders. In many ways, they are the stewards of the House of Sorrows, while delvers deal in the spiritual, tenders see to the corporeal. The Sorrows are the inheritance of the House of Sorrows, so to speak. We have been working at delving for centuries, collecting and shaping this magic, but we had never thought that it could be exploited. Do the Tuatha revere nothing? It was formed as a way to keep the winter traditions of decay and rot while building a winter court. But in time, we lost true sight of what the essence of winter was. Though all of the house are the followers of the Weeping King, the Delvers are his true disciples. They can delve into the sorrows of another, just as he did. I was another of the wretches that the Weeping King saved when he first walked into the Feylands. When he pulled the rot of winter from me, I learned how I too could do the same. So I learned the finer points of his magic, and followed him as the first Delver. Alarain and I have been apart for some time. I think it will be good, when this business is over, to resume our meditations, together. Disarain, I have been sealed in here for some time, mortal. But even I know this one. His is the hand that leads the House of Sorrows, no? I know something of the war this land cries of. I will serve. But before I go to his side, you must find Alarain. She and I are as one. Once, long ago, Alarain and I walked the midden as faithful devotees of the Weeping King. She a tender, and I a delver. We were the first of our kind. But when the Weeping King passed, there was nothing. The House of Sorrows that he had built no longer served death, but the winter court that it itself had created. So Alarain and I left. We came here. We devoted ourselves to the contemplation of death, as the Weeping King would have wanted. It means much to me that you wish to reunite us. We have been long in isolation, contemplating death. Perhaps too long. As you found me on one part of the scale, so will you find her on the other. Now I will leave my cell to wait for you both. Among our kind he was, and he remains singular. None could do now what he did, to naturally find the sorrows in others and delve into their being. And though he formed the House of Sorrows, though he saw the birth of the Court of Winter, he did not remain. By choice or fate, he went to Ashara, never to return. I think this war has exhausted all other Winter Fae who knew the Weeping King as he walked. But though Alarain and I remain, I can scarce recall him. She tends to the scale as I have for these many centuries. You must reset the scale in order to reach her chamber. Very well.
How curious. You are mortal, but your steps resound with a burden greater than any one mortal might ever hope to bear. More curious still is your presence here. The great scale is not idly moved, nor is my reverie broken without cause. What is your purpose? The first king of the House of Sorrows, and perhaps the greatest winter fae to walk these lands. He taught us to delve and to bear the burden of winter. But when the realms of winter were freed of this burden, the Weeping King left this world, never to return. It has been long since that transpired. So long, in fact, that I cannot even recall his face or his presence. But it was powerful. Being in his presence was to know the sorrow of our race. Caelrod and I have lived long in this world, it is true. But our choice was not driven by some manner of self-preservation. It was to learn. All Fae return their life energy to Ashara on death. But the nature of Winter Fae, their essence, lies in the decomposition and decay of all things. Caelrod and I have forsaken being reborn anew to embrace the rotting of the corporeal world among us. That is where nature truly lies. Of that order I was the first. I had the strength to answer the Weeping King and take the burden of other Fae, but I could not hear the sorrows within them. And so I was to honor the Midden and tend its depths, so that nature would forever know that we have honored her call for decay. The sorrows, they were meant to stand as a monument to the work of the house. And now they stand on being used as a tool for war. Despicable. In the beginning, it venerated death. But in time, the house was revered by Winter Fae for its sacrifice. They are the heart of this collective. A Delver can take the sorrows into their being like the Weeping King did. Becoming a Delver means mastering his art. Along with the Weeping King, it was Caelrod with whom I watched the rise of winter. We were fated to be the first Tender and Delver. I think... too long have we been in these contemplations, isolated. When this affair is over, I think we will reunite in earnest. Of the Weeping King's disciples, we were the first. Standing on the edge of the Midden, we bore witness to him, transforming our people into something more. We vowed to never let that memory fade. Though death did call, we remained in this world, so that the knowledge of the Weeping King persisted. I have felt the shifting of the scale. I know that Caelrod has now ended his contemplations to serve the King of Sorrows. It is no small thing that he asks, for the knowledge that was given to us by the Weeping King was never to propagate nor to be exploited. But I know of the times that are upon us. Come, let us join with Caelrod. If Bizerain and you are to find the sorrows, then it is more than my knowledge you will need. Where we must meet, come, and the eldest will be reunited before you. Goodbye. I am gladdened that Caelrod and I are united once again. But if Bizerain truly seeks the sorrows, then he will need more than the knowledge of the eldest. There is a key of sorts to the sorrows. It lies in the hollow of Sincere, the hollow of the Weeping King. We must recover it. Yes, a mortal is not suited to this task, perhaps. But I do not believe we have time to find another to do this for us. We have not asked you to reunite us without cause. Our efforts must be divided. Bizerain must be instructed, and the key must be found. One of us will accompany you to Sincere, and the other will go to the house. We leave the choice to you, mortal. Caelrod and I have different skills, but both of us are capable of guiding you through Sincere. I do not deny there will be hardships we must combat. For that, I rely on my Feyblades, while Caelrod uses his magics. Which is of more use is up to you. Very well. Then I will go to the house and instruct Vizirain on how to reach the Sorrows. Farewell, mortal. I shall see you once you recover the key from Sincere. Goodbye.
And so it falls to us to claim the key from Sincere. It will not be easy going, but I will lend my magic to your skill. We must move quickly if we are to beat the Tuatha to the Sorrows. I will wait for you in Sincere. Please, make haste.
Very well.
The hunter runs. The hunter runs. Swiftly, swiftly for our lives. A mortal skirt of chain. A mesh of links forged in secret. The hunter runs. The hunter runs. In the chausses of the Fey Hunter.
Blessed Lyria, I know you. That's right. The last time I saw you was when you dangled from the Baylor like a drop of spittle on a Bolgan's chin. Mercy, the hero of Melson Shear. I'd know the face anywhere. Let me guess. The army has you out here on a special mission? Me, I'm just trying to live through the nights, trying to find a bit of time to myself, to explore. I'm from the plains of Erithel, from Colne. My family moved west after the invasion, but I chose instead to fight. I think about them every day. Old Lady Clary was the last bride of House Ancilla, and insane. They say she spoke to spirits, and that she smothered her own infant child. Her only love was a collection of dolls, a love that bordered on obsession. She took them everywhere, gave them names, and even slept with them at night. Most scholars believe that the lady's children, as they came to be called, held some special meaning for her. But what? Old Lady Clary was the last bride of House Ancilla, and insane. They say she spoke to spirits and that she smothered her own infant child. Her only love was a collection of dolls, a love that bordered on obsession. She took them everywhere, gave them names, and even slept with them at night. Most scholars believe that the lady's children, as they... You would do that? Even with all the other, more pressing matters at hand? My sister is not going to believe this. The hero of Mel Senshir. Legend says that the dolls were last seen in Lady Ancilla's hands when her family was murdered. So I was just going to look around the ruins. The poor hag was driven mad by her isolation out here on the Caelid coast. They say she took the life of her youngest, smothered him with her chamber pillow. After that, it was only a matter of time until every last breath of reason blew out of her. She made the dolls, and they became her new family. All I know is that they're fashioned from brittle frond leaves, and that the Lady Ancilla kept them close at all times. I suspect there was something inside them. After you put a dagger into the Baelor at Mel Senshir, the rest of us were sent in to mop up the mess made by the Tuatha. We keep pressing south to Alabastra. I'd try the Ancilla ruins, and maybe the castle. The dolls were last seen on Lady Ancilla when her family was killed by the Bolgan.
Oh, there are plenty of creepy tales about the Caelid coast. But my gran told me bedtime stories about the Ancilla and Gastier families. All of them terrifying.
Don't be afraid. I know who you are, and this is a safe place. Welcome to my camp. I am Captain Droon Ancilla, great-great-grandson of Clary Ancilla, and heir to the Caelid coast. Unlike the Tuatha, I am a gracious host. Please, come, warm yourself at our fire. Anything we have to offer is yours. Caelid was once a lush, vibrant domain, ruled by my father and his brother Port. It had been in our family for generations, and our subjects were a peaceful people. Of course, the Gastier family was constantly claiming the land as their own, going so far as to build a castle that looked down upon us. Looked down on us. The seal was forged by my great-great-grandmother, the first Clary Ancilla, mother of the Caelid nobles. She crafted it herself from scarab salts and terrenium. The verdant blades belonged to my father. He used them in the many battles fought to secure our borders. They have no equal in Cluricon, or anywhere for that matter. I was hoping you'd volunteer. Getting the heirlooms will be a challenge. You see, they are held in a family lockbox, the key to which is not in my possession. As for the key, I made a mistake. I was young, foolish. The night before the Bolgan came, I gave the key to a girl. She was... how can I put this? My childhood love. Her name is Hilared Gastier. Yes, a Gastier, the sworn enemy of House Ancilla. It was a gesture. I meant to show her what she meant to me. But now, she has what I need. If you can convince Hilared to give you the key, you will need to retrieve the items from the lockbox in the old family fortress of Seawatch to the east. Good luck. How I long to see Hilared again. But my responsibility to my family comes first. I was only 10 years old when the Bolgan came. All I remember of this place are scattered memories. My mother's screams. My father's blood on my boots. I've devoted every coin of our family fortune to the war effort, knowing that one day I'd return to the coast and reclaim what was mine. I was raised here. Strange how small it all seems now. Almost like we were all playing at being lords of this land, and that we never had any real power. Even now I can feel it. The darkness. The place doesn't want us here. It never has. Why else would such tragedy have befallen my family? Every dark corner is cursed. We're trickling in from the drowned forest in isolated units, not a cohesive front, which is a problem. The geography, the foliage, it's a logistical nightmare. Captain Trav was able to force a wedge into the Tuatha defenses, enough to slip into Alabastra. But breaking through is one thing, holding the line is another. The last I saw of Hilared was at the Battle of Mel Senshir. She became a soldier like me. I'm not surprised. She was always tough. Try checking her family's keep, Castle Gastier. She would likely go there. If she survived, that is. Goodbye.
Oh, damn humidity.
You there. You must help me. There isn't much time. I'm the last one. The others may still be alive. I'm not entirely sure. Things happen fast. But it appears that the Tuatha are planning to form a hasty defense here to fight our progress in the Kaled coast. If they can keep us occupied here, it will give them time to prepare a strong counterattack in the south, near Moondown Hill, and deep into central Alabastra. You're a brave soul. Warriors like you must have made the difference in Mel Senshir. I wasn't there, but I heard it was quite the battle. The gates to Ancilla are chained and defended, but you can slip in undetected through the refuse pipe. You won't enjoy it, but it's a direct route. Find Private Gottlieb. I have a feeling he's the last one alive. I still hope, but I have no illusions about what you'll find. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. The estate of Lady Clary Ancilla once stretched all the way from the Kaled coast north to Cursewood, but that was before the Gastiers invaded and built their own keep. That is a long story, and both those families fell into ruin with the arrival of the Bulgan. You may have met Captain Droon Ancilla. He is the last living heir to the keep. He can have it. My parents were wealthy merchants in Rathir, people who did not appreciate the ease in which they had found themselves. I wanted to do better. I wanted to serve. For years I fought against the Tuatha and their corrupt, maddening ways. We had them at first, I know we did. But then something changed. They became unstoppable. An ancient ruin, once home to the great Alfar royals of House Ancilla. But any honor it once housed has been tarnished by the Tuatha inside. Their cruelty is inspired. You can slip past the castle's defenses by climbing in through the refuse pipe. I can tell you from experience that it's not a pleasant journey. You should not wait too long. The Tuatha intend to kill them all. All that's left, that is. I have faith in you.
The mountain god awaits.
Greetings, mortal. What brings you to Ancilla? Torture? Imprisonment? Madness? I have been waiting many seasons for the return of my friend and master, Lord Ancilla. Do you know of his whereabouts? Is he well?
The mortal Lord Ancilla was good to me, kind. He is the only dustling that has ever taken a true interest in my telling. That is why I served him then, as I do now.
I never cared for the telling, and found myself listless and wandering under the canopy of the stars and the forest green. I have no role, no place in any ballad. Lord Ancilla found me in his herb garden one day. I was laughing at the jokes the blossoms told, but he liked me, let me stay and tend the flowers. These were safe lands before Gadflow and the Tuatha. Safe for Fae, at least. We could wander as we wished. Now there is evil under every canopy. I've been here for nearly a season. What would seem like ages to one such as you. I was the alchemist for House Ancilla. You may call me Connie. The Tuatha imprisoned many of the servants and advisors when they invaded 10 years ago. Most of them perished of starvation or disease, poor souls. I am all that is left. Goodbye.
Another donkey with a heart.
Who are you? And what brings you to this stale hell? I was a bare-knuckle fighter in Rathir before the war. I was good, too. But then the body went, and after that, the whole world plunged into chaos. I'd rather not discuss it. You wouldn't either if you'd spent the last few days praying to the gods for a way out, hoping to see a shaft of sky through the stone. A shadowy wood creeping with Alfar lore, so thick it can choke you. If it weren't for the army, I never would have come here. Some places in this world are just cursed. Damn that man! I knew that shoving him down that pipe wouldn't be enough. So, you're here to rescue our sorry hides. Sounds like we've got our new orders. But we can't leave. Tigneri, the madman who lords over this castle, he will not back down when the Alfar come. He will stay, and he will take many lives. We must kill him now, Otherwise, many of our brothers and sisters in the approaching army will fall prey to his soul-bind curse. It is Tigneri's life's work, a mixture of magic and alchemy that bends the very rules of nature. He plans to use it on the Alpha to strip our forces of their magic. The Tuatha wish to turn Castle Ancilla into another Mel Senshir. We'll need to get into the throne room, and the only way to do that is to raise the portcullis. Once we find the lever, we're in. Let's go. Come on, come on!
sacrifice, mortal.
Damn hole in the ground. Come on, come on! On to Tigneri. On to Tigneri. Not to worry. There's bound to be an antidote in the laboratory below. Come along, we shall find it. I'd imagine it's hidden somewhere in Tigneri's laboratory, down in the deeper dungeons. Let's check there first. Ready? close. Close. We're close.
Telling end here.
You're not going to tell anyone about me, are you? Not that I've done anything wrong, mind you. I just didn't have the will to fight anymore. So I stopped. Fighting, that is. Private Elia Madmere reporting for duty. Oh, I am not fooling anyone. Listen, I've got some useful skills to trade if you're willing to keep my little secret hushed. Lockpicking for your silence, or gold. If you've killed one, you've killed them all. They're like weeds, reaching up every spring despite how many you cut down the winter before. Been in the service for 3 years, and it's been 3 years. So, you already know I ran from my post. So, well, you probably consider me a coward. You wouldn't be wrong. Silly, isn't it? A young girl enlists in the army, but then panics at the sight of battle. Probably wonder what I expected. I know I do. Take care!
It seems you caused quite a row in Castle Ancilla. I've been watching the Tuatha panic ever since you wriggled through that pipe. Well done. You have my eternal gratitude. Really, there are few who would have done what you did. It would have been an honor to fight beside you at Mel Senshir. Please, take this shield. It is the one thing I made sure they never took from me. That and my dignity. I'll never look at a stronghold the same way again. And the stories always described Ancilla as an elegant place, a home fit for kings. I've learned my lesson. Good luck to you.
Hello.
You look familiar.